beautiful crowd. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so excited to be part of this event today. Ladies, if there's a gentleman next to you, you can just turn to them and say, "You look so handsome today." Gentlemen, there's a lady next to you, you can just turn to them and say, "You are so beautiful inside and out." I was gonna say there's a speed dating event after this, but you know. Alright, so my name is Reid. I am a fitness professional. I work at Lifetime Fitness just down the street. One of my roles I've had there was as an education specialist. So I work with personal trainers and I would teach them kind of the nuances of the job and like the Lifetime way and just stuff to be a better trainer and how to build their business. One of the things that I would do with our new trainers when they're in this week-long certification with me is I give them this little exercise, like a get to know your exercise. And this exercise, you get them, I have this sheet of paper and it's like an animal characteristics page. And you build this, like, how can I describe it? It's like a totem pole that you build off of this. So every person will get this sheet of paper and it'd have all these different animals. And let's say a person would say, "I'm a mouse because I like to be organized," or "I'm a raven because I'm introspective," or "I'm a wolf because I'm loyal." You get what I'm doing here? Okay. So this is what these fitness professionals would do. And if you ever want to see a grown man sweat, you get them to draw their animal and present it to the classroom as part of the exercise. And these guys sweat, they just get so panicky, they're looking on YouTube and trying to figure out this tutorials on how to draw and all this fun stuff. So my animal is a lion, okay? It's courageous, I have kids, I'm protective, and a sense of loyalty and all those different things. So that's kind of my animal, and I recognize that that's something that just kind of resonates with me being a parent. And I do the same thing with my clients. I like to take care of them. I like to make sure that they're okay and that they're growing and they're feeling good about themselves. And even before that, I was in social work. And once again, the same field where you're looking after young people or adolescents and making sure that they're good. And then that ties right back around to your training because now the people that you work with, they're your clients and then they become your acquaintances and then they become your friends. And your friends become family. And you start growing and taking care of these people. And that's the way that we're taught. I was taught. How many guys are firstborns? Firstborn siblings? Yes? A lot of firstborns. A-type personalities. Right, so what have we been taught as firstborns, right? You go to school, get your education, you find yourself a partner, you get yourself married, you have kids, you buy a house, get a dog, a white picket fence, and you ride off into the sunset, right? Not really. Not really. Not exactly. How we know life isn't that perfect, right? Exactly. And that's what I learned when I went through my divorce. Now, I'm not here to glorify that event because people have bigger events, worse events, more terrible events. But one thing that's common with all of us in this room is that we probably all have at some point had a checkpoint, right? Where in our linear thinking, in our minds, we know that life is supposed to go this way, and then this step, and then this step, and then this step. And then it gets interrupted by some event. And all of us in our minds can think about what that some event is, what that one checkpoint is, that TSN turning point, where you have to decide exactly what you're going to do with the rest of this path. And that's the power of moments like this, where when you're sharing your story, I don't have a big special story, but I do have a story. I do have a checkpoint. I have an event where I had to make a choice in terms of how the rest of the story is going to go. Now, I have a best friend who lives in Japan. And a few years ago, he came and got to hang out with him, and I have a new girlfriend, lady friend. I'm 40 years old. What do you call the... what do you call this person in life? Right? So Alex is over here, so let's call her girlfriend for the sake of the story. And so she met my best friend Damien, and they got along, and it's so wonderful. It's just good when like your people meet your people, and everything's good, right? And then so she has this idea, and she said, you know, I used to be a flight attendant, and I have friends who are still flight attendants. So how about we eeny, meeny, miny, moe it across Japan? And I was like, no, that's the scariest thing I ever thought of. Because I'm this linear, structured, organized, pragmatic person to now go across the country, across the world, without my kids, to this scary country, in a different language. I don't like being on the other side of Toronto without Google Maps in my hand. And you want me to go to Japan. So I say yes, and we go. And we land, and then as soon as we get to the subway, I take out my phone, text my friend in Japan, say, yo, we're here. And his response is, option 1, sky access to the orange, roughly 1,500 yen, route to Narita to Nippuri, blue line, not the JR line, to Nippuri to Ikeburo, the JR green color line, which is the free line, or the Ikeburo line, Higashi Kurami, to Sinu Ikeburo, which is the line not covered. Now, when you're coming to Higashi, my heart drops at this point, because this is the very moment I have been running from my entire life, just being so lost. Can't even understand what he's saying. But we go anyways, we embrace the adventure. And we go from Japan, from Tokyo, we make Kyoto our home base. So we land in Kyoto, get off the train, we walk an hour the wrong direction in the rain, and which is fine, because we're seeing these beautiful temples and amazing flowers and trees and the smells, and now I'm just getting lost in this adventure. I'm getting lost and enjoying the fact that I'm lost now. And then, you know, we get this hotel, and it's right across from the Imperial Palace. So it's overlooking this beautiful Imperial Palace. And then from there, for the next 10 days, we just explore. We get on the train at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and sleep on the train for a couple hours. We land in Hiroshima, and we see the ruins from where the bomb landed. We go to the museum, and then we see the rejuvenated city and how beautiful this 50-year-old city is in this 1,000-year-old nation. And then we go to Nara, and we see these deer walking around the streets. We get bicycles, and we have our maps in our baskets, and we're riding around. You know, we find a monkey park. We have to climb this hill to get to the top of this hill for this beautiful monkey park. Or we go to Mount Fuji. And I don't know if you guys know this little piece of useless knowledge you can tell your friends about, but if you ever look at any picture of Mount Fuji, there's always evergreens in the foreground. We found that evergreen forest, okay? It's a place called Mihu Beach, and they say the best view of Mount Fuji is across the water, not at the base of Mount Fuji where you're looking up like this at rocks, but across the water. So we ride around, and we land at this evergreen forest. And this evergreen forest is a sacred forest where the legend has it that a fisherman met an angel. So there's all these Chinese tour buses that come there. I'd never heard of this. I don't think any North American ever heard of this, but a lot of Chinese travel to this sacred forest to see this spot where this fisherman met. And there's all these amazing stories of these areas that I wouldn't have seen if I had followed my linear path, if I never took this adventure, if I never went out and discovered that there's so many things that are outside of my way of thinking that are just out there if I just go with this embrace this adventure that I have here. So it was just an amazing, amazing experience. And that went on for 10 more days, 11 cities, and we just had a great time, and I learned a lot about myself. And it's probably the scariest experience I had, and I don't know if I'll do it again, but that was, it was neat, and I probably would do it again, but I'd have that same kind of angst when I get those text messages from my friends. But that's part of life, right? But now going back to the lion for a second. We're in Utah and there's these lions. I learned this really cool story about lions. When a lion is hunting, the one lion would be just visible here. Let's say it's a wildebeest or antelope or something that's going to be attacked. Lion's here. In hiding over here, we have a bunch of lions, right? So now the lion roars, the wildebeest says, there's a lion, I'm going to run this way. And like my sprinting form, that's wildebeest. And so the wildebeest runs this way, and of course, he gets caught. He falls right into the claws of the prey, and they're waiting there for him. So every time I heard that story, I was kind of paused with it. I thought, okay, now, what would happen if this wildebeest had ran towards the lion? The single lion over there, as opposed to the 4 or 5 that are laying in wait. He could have made a sudden move and escaped into the water or whatever, and been fine. But instead he ran away from the roar and he ran into his own peril. And how many times in my life have I ran away from the roar only to end up in that same world of hurt that I was running from? How many times in my life have I ran away from one situation only to end up in a worse situation that looks exactly like the one I was running from? And what would have happened if, in those situations, when I felt that hurt, or I felt that fear, or I felt that distrust because of something that happened with my family, or my relationships, or my marriage, or my workplace, or something, that I chose to run away from the roar? You end up in more problems. Or you choose to run towards a roar and find that true freedom. So my challenge to myself was to always run towards the roar. And the same thing I challenge you to as well. Think about that. What are the things that we run away from and just run right back into? And what freedom would we find if we were to run towards a roar? So those are the thoughts I leave you with tonight, and that's my story. My name is Reid. Thank you for your time.